Great. I will call the May 27th, 2021 meeting of the Apportionment Commission to order. And I will start this afternoon's meeting with introductions. My name is Ryan Fecto. I'm Speaker of the Main House. I am the temporary pro temp chair of the Apportionment Commission. And in just a few moments, we'll take care of business so that I can officially depart this commission once and for all, and you all will have the opportunity to do your business for the day or whatever it is you have planned for the remainder of today's business. And with that, I'll go through folks as I see them, see you all on my screen. I know it's different for everyone, so I'll start with Bev.
Hi folks, my name is Bev Yelenhake. I am the public member representing the Democratic Party and currently serving as vice chair of the Maine Dems.
And Michelle Dunphy. I'll come back. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Thanks. I was having trouble unmuting. I appreciate your patience. Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Dunphy. I'm the House Majority Leader, and I represent House District 122, which is Old Town and Indiana voting district.
Matt Moonen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you all. My name is Matt Moonen. I'm a former four-term member of the Maine House of Representatives and a resident of Portland, and excited to get to work with all of you.
Senator Davis. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
It wouldn't let me on there for a minute. Good afternoon. My name is Paul Davis, and I represent Senate District 4, which is all of Piscataquis County and parts of Somerset and Penobscot.
Jonathan Bolton.
There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. I am not a member of the commission. My name's John Bolton. I'm an Assistant Attorney General, and I was asked to attend to answer any questions, provide any information the commission might need about the petition that was filed in the Supreme Judicial Court regarding the constitutional deadlines for apportionment.
Thank you. Justice Alexander.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Donald Alexander, former justice of the Maine Supreme Court and resident of Winthrop. I look forward to working with the commission. I'm, I guess, one of the public members selected by the other public members. So I look forward to working with you. And some people have told me that they want me to be chair, but maybe somebody will come to their senses and I'll have less work to do. Good afternoon, everybody. I look forward to working with you all.
Representative Kryzak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Ted Kryzak. I represent District 20, Acton, Lebanon, and part of Shapley.
Representative Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm State Representative Joshua Morris. I represent House District 75, which is Turner, Leeds, and Livermore.
President Jackson.
Hey, hello everyone. Senator Troy Jackson, I'm Senate President here. I represent Senate District 1, and I am on this commission so that the Honorable Josh Tardy can run everything through me and make sure that he gets the credit. Thank you today, everyone.
Representative Perry.
Good afternoon. I'm Representative Ann Perry. I represent House District 140, which includes the communities of Indian Township, Baileyville, Barron, Calais, Charlotte, Robinson, Perry, Pembroke, and Pleasant Point.
The Honorable Josh Tardy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Joshua Tardy, resident of Newport. I'm a public member chosen by the Republican members.
Senator Libby.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Libby. I proudly represent all of the people of Lewiston in the Maine Senate.
Representative Brennan.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Brennan. I represent District 36, which is a small part of Portland.
Joe Turcott.
I'm Joe Turcotte from Augusta, Maine, and I am a member of the Republican side for commission. Thanks for having me.
Senator Bennett.
I'm Rick Bennett. I've got video off because I'm traveling, but I proudly represent District 19, which is the Western Maine Foothills and Lakes region in the Maine Senate.
Great. Thanks everyone for the introductions. For any member of the public listening, if you'd like to be added to the interested parties list for the Apportionment Commission, please send an email to apcom, so apcom at legislature.maine.gov. Again, apcom at legislature.maine.gov. Future meeting information and materials will be shared through this address. So at the top of today's business is election of the chair, and that will get me off the hook for having to be here any longer. So I think we should get right down to business, and I will recognize Mr. Tardy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I nominate the Honorable Donald Alexander to serve as Apportionment Commission Chair.
Mr. Tardy has nominated the Honorable Donald Alexander for the position of Chair of the Apportionment Commission. Is there a second? I think I heard one.
I second it.
Representative Kryzak seconds. Is there a motion to cease nominations? President Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the nomination cease.
President Jackson, nominations cease. Representative Dunphy has seconded the motion. All those in favor of the nomination ceasing, please raise your hand in the screen, or you can use the hand function on the. And actually, with Senator Bennett, I will. Oh, Senator Bennett came through. I think that's unanimous of those present. Thank you. The pending question is the nomination of the Honorable Donald Alexander for Chair of the Apportionment Commission. Is the committee ready for the question? I presume hands are not raised for questions, or are they? Representative Kryzak, do you have a question or comment?
Nope, I was trying to lower it. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Seems like we're ready for the question. All those in favor will raise their hands, or they can say aye. All those opposed. You see, Representative Brennan, was your hand up? Yep. And it looks like it's unanimous of those present. So with that, Mr. Alexander, Justice Alexander, I'm going to turn things over to you. Congratulations. I hope you know what you're getting yourself into. You probably don't, but I'm much happier you're doing this job than I am. So good luck.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And thank you to the commission members and Speaker Fecto. I'm not sure I want you to go away because you're one of that generation that's a lot more comfortable with technical stuff than I am. And from my experience with the reapportionment, the little bit the court did in 2003, I know there's some pretty technical stuff you have to do, and you look like someone to be available, and I hope you're can be available with support and participation with staff and the commission anyways, with the and the same with the Senate, of course. We hope that we can get something out that's good for all of you. So, but thank you very much. And
thank you.
The office that I sit in today.
Whoops, I went. Okay, but anyways, couple other observations I would like to make, and then we would get. I think there's been an agenda that circulated to all of you, and I do appreciate the chair. But for all of us, the role really here has got to be to sort of get something that's widely acceptable, not just something that's mandated by a committee or something like that, because it's only good if we have a 2/3 vote of everybody to get this adopted in both the House and the Senate. And we have another issue too, is certainly we could go along and have reports and have delays and things like that. With the timeline we're looking at, we're hoping to have something completely prepared by early November, hopefully approved by then. If not, it has to go to the Maine Supreme Court, and we have an outside deadline. I think you've seen the affidavit from the Secretary of State election official that everything has to be done through and including the Supreme Court by November 15th. That's a tough deadline. Because it then goes into the holiday season, and the last couple of weeks of it depend on an independent contractor who may not be able to pull a full workload in the last 2 weeks, which includes the Christmas holiday. So I hope we can get something together as a commission that is acceptable and can get through the legislature. And I think we have a particular importance of doing that this year, so we can really get the districting off on its front full foot by the first of the year, with everything, all the technical stuff done then, and everybody knows what it is and things like that. And anyways, one of the first things we have to do, and then we have some other substantive stuff on the agenda, which I think you've all seen, and I'll discuss stuff further then. But first of all is basically adopting our rules of procedure. And I'm advised that this and other commissions talk about rules, and there's a proposal, suggestion that commission be able to act with a quorum of 8, and that otherwise we preside using Robert's Rules of Procedure. Any comments or observations on that, or can that be something we move forward with?
Mr. Chair, if it's appropriate, I'd make a motion if it's appropriate at this time.
Okay. Anybody second the motion? That's,
I'll second it.
basically, okay, thank you. The motion is to basically adopt rules that have a quorum of 8 as necessary for the commission action, and to conduct our practices according to Robert's Rules of Procedure. Any comments on that any member of the commission want to offer? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, if you're in favor, raise your hands. Okay, thank you. And is anybody opposed? And if that is, raise your hands. Okay. Seeing none, thank you for Ms. Tardy for making that motion, and the represent is adopted, and our quorum is 8 in order for the commission to be able to act, and we will proceed according to Robert's Rules of Procedure. The next thing to do is sort of review quickly, and I know some of the legislative leaders have another meeting at 1:30, so we're going to move on as quickly as we can. I hope we'll be done well before then. But to talk about the legislative charge to the commission and the schedule. And that's really dependent on the petition to extend the constitutional deadlines, because our schedule as a commission, not the legislature, they can act after us, but our schedule as a commission theoretically has a deadline next week. If we don't get that extended or have some hope of getting extended pretty soon, our commission gets done pretty quick, unless we act without authority or somehow get capacity on our deadline. But anyways, for that reason, the Attorney General is here, Representative Attorney General John Bolton, who's done a lot of the drafting on this, and the petition to the court. And perhaps at this time, unless somebody else would like to offer some comments in advance of that, we'd ask him to come in, tell us what's going on, tell us what's been proposed, and then respond to any questions and comments. Any questions or observations by commission members before we get to that? Okay, then perhaps we can, John Bolton, good to see you, and perhaps you could tell us where things are, what you anticipate, and what, if anything, you might need from the commission to help you in your efforts to get before the court, to the extent the commission could have any authority that continues after next week.
Thank you very much, Justice Alexander. My name is John Bolton. I'm Assistant Attorney General. I'm one of 2 counsel that is representing the House and Senate leadership in this petition that we filed with the Supreme Judicial Court to extend the constitutional deadlines. And this all arose because of the amendment to the Constitution in 2011, which changed all of the dates for apportionment to move them closer to the when the census is released, and it put in specific calendar dates directly into the Constitution where all the different steps of apportionment are supposed to be completed. And as Justice Alexander mentioned, the first deadline is the Commission's deadline, which the Constitution says is June 1st. The legislature then has to act by June 11th. And then the Supreme Court, if there's no plan in place from the legislature by June 11th, the Supreme Court is supposed to act within 60 days after that to make the apportionment, which was August 10th. So the situation right now is the U.S. Census Bureau has not released any of the data that's necessary for apportionment. And they have made a pretty firm commitment that the data will be available no later than August 16th. And there's a possibility it'll be available before then. But they've put in writing that they're confident, quote unquote, that they're going to have the data ready no later than that date. So as a result, we thought the best thing to do, since it was clear that assuming August 16th is when we get the data, nobody is going to be able to meet their deadlines. This commission won't, the legislature won't, and the court won't. That what made the most sense to do was to file a request. We framed it as a petition with the Supreme Judicial Court, which is the body that ultimately is responsible for making the apportionment if the legislature is unable to do so, asking them to extend the deadlines. This is a fairly unusual situation. So this petition is, it's a bit of an unusual filing, and as a result of that, we don't know exactly what the Supreme Judicial Court is going to do in response to this filing. They could simply issue an order. They could ask for more information. They could ask for the members of the public to submit comments. We're not sure how they're going to respond to this. But the relief that we've requested in the petition is we've asked that the deadlines be extended so that this commission would have 45 days after receipt of the data. So, potentially 45 days from August 16th, and what seems to be sort of the worst case scenario. The legislature would then have 10 days from either the submission of a plan from the commission or expiration of the 45 days, whichever comes first. So 10 days from when you give them a plan or when your time to act expires, the earlier of those two. And then the court would then have 35 days from expiration of that time if the legislature is unable to pass a plan. And if you add all that up, 45 plus 10 plus 35 from August 16th, it gets you to November 15th, which is basically sort of the drop dead date that the Secretary of State needs to have the plan in order to avoid interfering with next year's election schedule. So that's what we've asked for. Just because we've asked for that doesn't mean the court will necessarily agree to the exact, they might not agree to anything when they may not agree to the exact schedule we've proposed, but that's what we've proposed. So I guess the other thing I would just mention is, of course, the apportionment committee was not part of the petition because you hadn't been fully constituted yet at the time we filed it. We filed this on Monday. And it's certainly one of the things that you might consider is whether the commission would want to file something in the court that would, where you would you could do, there are different things you could do, but the simplest thing would be, I think, simply to file something with the court indicating that the commission joined the request for relief made by the House and Senate leadership for extension of the deadlines. So that would be one option. Obviously, you could file something asking for different deadlines, or it might be possible to file an entirely separate action. But I think the simplest thing, if the commission wanted to pursue this, would be to file something brief that just said we agree that the deadline should be extended. We agree with the proposal in the petition. So, and obviously, if you don't have copies of that petition, I can certainly make sure that you all get a copy of that so you can review it. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have about this.
Okay. Thank you, John. And I would say copies of the petition and the Julie Flynn's affidavit were circulated to the commission members in advance of this meeting.
Oh, good.
Do any commission members have any questions for Assistant Attorney General Bolton? Okay. One observation then, seeing no requests for questions.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
I think there was
Go ahead.
a request.
Okay, I didn't, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Bolton, I just wonder if you could clarify for anybody watching, when you say that you filed a petition on behalf of House and Senate leadership, can you clarify that that is on behalf of both the majority and minority leadership in both chambers?
Yes, correct. It's on behalf of Troy Jackson, Jeffrey Timberlake, Ryan Fecto, and Kathleen Dillingham.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions? Because it just goes across the top of my screen, and my apologies, Matt. I didn't see you on the top of the screen, so.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is, if I may, Josh Tardy.
Mr. Tardy, yep.
Yeah. First, just a comment. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Bolton and his office for the work on the petition. It's my thoughts that the commission could join in the manner that Mr. Bolton has suggested. And so, Mr. Bolton, my question is this: if we just have an affirmative vote to join the petition, your office could take care of making that appropriate filing on our behalf. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe that's right. As long as the commission wants to seek the same relief as the petition that's already in front of the court, I don't see an issue with us handling the filing and representing the commission as well. Obviously, if the commission had a different view about the relief, there might be an issue with one lawyer representing everybody.
Okay. Any other questions? I would tell folks I have communicated with John Bolton about the possibility of the commission also sort of seeking guidance from the court as to what its authority is to act, which is a sort of a slightly different thing. But I understand that the most direct way would be to simply have the commission join. And if the commission is agreeable, and I'll ask for commission views on that shortly, I could simply by email to Mr. Bolton with copy to the commission, if the commission in fact votes to join the petition, do so. And then perhaps in some of your memorandum to the court, you could also note that the commission does need some direction as to whether it has authority to act and what those deadlines might be. Any other questions for Mr. Bolton? Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion that the commission in fact join the petition, which, as I say, was circulated to you in advance of this meeting?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
I would make a motion that the Apportionment Commission join the proceedings as has already been joined by the 4 caucuses in the Maine legislature, and to authorize you to communicate as you deem appropriate to the Attorney General's office.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and that's seconded by Representative Perry, was it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Perry. Any further discussion on the motion by Mr. Tardy, seconded by Representative Perry? Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, raise your hands, or okay. And anybody, okay, thank you. Anybody opposed to the motion that the commission join the petition and that I am authorized to communicate with the Attorney General's office to that effect? Okay, seeing no opposition, I'll consider the motion approved, and I will be communicating with Mr. Bolton to confirm our wish to join the petition. And I will communicate that to the rest of the commission members once we all get the emails to how we communicate all figured out. So anyways, Okay. Anything else? Any other comments or observations for Mr. Bolton while he's still with us? Okay. And John, you're welcome to stay for the remainder of the commission meeting. There may be other things that may come up or whatever that. So if you're available to stay, it might be good if you did. But other than that, I think this covers the part that we were needing your advice and consultation on.
Thank you all very much. I'll turn off my video, but I will stay on audio. And if anything else comes up, feel free to give me a holler and I'll jump back on.
Well, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And as I say, one of the things on our agenda was that we have sort of an overview of the legislature's charge to the commission and the schedule. The legislature's charge to the commission, obviously, is that we have to do the draft redistricting plans for the congressional districts, for the Senate, for the House, and for the county commissioners. And one other thing we have to do, and I don't know, is once the commission is officially constituted, according to Article 9, Section 25 of the Constitution, anybody who is a member of the public then has 30 days, in other words, it's 30 days from today, to provide comments or whatever about with regard to the county commissioner districts. That's a petition by a note in the Constitution that's unique to the county commissioners. There's no districts. There's no similar thing for the congressional districts, for the House and the Senate, which are obviously being fully and adequately addressed by the two caucuses. But anyways, we need to figure some way to, or do we need to figure some way to provide, some notice to the public that they have 30 days to comment on the county commission thing, which is difficult now because there's nothing to comment about yet because we don't have the census data. But I would point out that provision is in the Constitution, and I guess I'm ambivalent as to whether we should do something about it now or whether doing something about it by sending a notice would mislead people. And I guess I'd be interested in other commissioners' comments on that. I see Senator Bennett's raising his hand, or
I am, yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I think it wise for us to do everything we can that is called for in the Constitution and abide by it as faithfully as possible. So that, by asking for 30 days of comment on county commissioner districts now does not preclude us from doing that in the future as well. But I do think that we should follow the Constitution as closely as we can. And it seems sensible for us to weigh in. In fact, I've already heard informally from people interested in one of the county commissioner districts in my area about some changes that might be appropriate there. So I would encourage us to go ahead and open a public comment period according to the Constitution.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment on that? Okay. Representative Kadish, no. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have to tell you, I voted for you because of your speech. That was great. Somebody said I should be chair.
Oh dear. Well, maybe maybe everybody ought to reconsider.
I had a question. Do we have a website like the committees do where we could have people put their comments on it? Does the commission have its own website?
I don't know anything about that aspect of it, the same way as I'm not sure how we would get a public notice out because we need to do that. And that's something we need to address. I did see in a discussion of the thing about something about apcom@legislative.maine.gov, but I don't know. Is Megan Rocheleau around still?
Yes, I am here. We do not have a website just yet, but I can work with the IT office to get that up and running. And then the email address you did mention will be used for all interested parties, and anyone who signs up as an interested party can get notifications through that email address from that email address about public notices, meetings, materials, etc.
Okay. Would there be a way to get a public notice out either through the commission or through the speaker's office or somewhere that people would pay attention to it, simply to note that under the Constitution, now the commission's been created, there is a 30-day time to provide comments on the county commissioner things. I mean, we'll obviously be taking public comment on the other things too, but it's a little premature for that.
Yeah, I think we can definitely put out a public notice. We'll have to figure out the logistics of that, just like we are figuring out the logistics of all the rest of this as we go, but we can make
Okay.
that happen.
Any other comments from commission members on that? Okay. All right. What I'd like to do next is, according to the agenda, we talk about technical things of the budget and staff support and things like that. But perhaps before that, we could talk about the next steps, because that will then relate to sort of staff support questions and things like that. And a couple observations I'd have, and then I'd be interested in hearing what anybody else has to say, is we probably, it may be useful to sort of get together and have a discussion. Perhaps even at least those who want to participate remotely do so. Those who want to participate live in a single setting do so, because there's a lot right here we're going to have to discuss across the table and things like that. And later on, we're going to have to obviously be working with a computerized map and things like that that are going to probably require in-person discussions. But I thought it might be useful going forward to at least have sometime, within the next month or so, perhaps even sooner, have a sort of general get together looking at issues we're going to have to address before we get the data, sort of perhaps to know where the tough points are. And one of the things I've thought is perhaps we look at what the census has for 2019, and obviously that's preliminary. It's in part based on sort of statistics and estimates and things like that, and would not be totally accurate with regard to what the 2020 data is going to be that we may get in August. But I thought it might be useful, for example, to give us some highlights based on what the Census Bureau has 2019 data up through July 1, 2019, that can give us some indications. It, for example, shows that where there have been increases, particularly in York and Cumberland County, where there have been significant decreases, no surprise percentage-wise, in Aroostook County, in Washington County, in Somerset County, in terms of population declines as a percentage of the population. And I thought it might be useful to sort of look at some issues in a discussion of all of us, that then might be some things that we can have to start talking about, and perhaps also once we've done that, have some public input. Now, I must say, playing with the 2019 data, there are some things where you get the data and then you add it up, and because the way the Census Bureau does and reports things, it also always doesn't all the way add up, and that may be my incompetence at figuring stuff out, or it might be just some differences in the way the Senate reports their data. But anyways, for example, I calculated that the congressional districts based on the 2019 data ought to have a population in the range of 672,000 each. Things like that, based on a projected state population then of 1,344,000 1,212. But again, obviously that's going to be different than 2020, particularly because relocations were already starting when census was focusing on that's gathering the data and for where people are and what they're doing in April of 2020. But anyways, I thought it might be useful to have a meeting and discuss that. We would have to somehow get some of the 2019 data and distribute it, and then maybe talk about it and think about scheduling our next meeting. The other observations on scheduling a meeting is people are more available once the legislature's not in session, but that's not going to be for a while. So anyways, what do people think about what we might do beyond sort of getting the county comments that we might do over the next, 30, 60 days, or if we need to do anything then, on terms of having a discussion to at least see what the issues are, the tough points might be, that we can perhaps start thinking about before we get the census data, because after that, we're going to have to be acting pretty quickly. Any comments?
Mr. Chair, I agree with your suggestions. I think it would make sense for us to get together and we can do it in person, then I'm certainly for that. It's a matter of, I think there is some work that we can do in preparation for the final census results, and we can accomplish some sort of goals and common areas of likely agreement, and if we set it out, at least a couple of weeks out from now, or we may have more guidance from the Supreme Judicial Court on what our real deadlines might be, and so that would be helpful.
That's because depending if they don't give us any guidance, I don't know what authority we have to act, but maybe that's something we'll have to worry about. We'll have to worry about later. Maybe at that point, we'd have to maybe take a different approach and trying to get authority with maybe somebody saying we don't have authority and get it before the court that way. But that's not something we need to worry about now. Any other comments? Okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Dunphy.
I would agree with Josh Tardy as well. I think using the 2019 American Census to get started, kick off the discussion, meet in person, I'd be happy to do that as well. And yeah, I support that as well. Thank you.
Okay. Well, do you think that you're going to have trouble with just getting the legislative members of this committee together and being able to focus and think about stuff in the next month because of all else you have to do?
I think we're scheduled to adjourn on June 16th. So, depending on the day, it might be tricky prior to then, but certainly after then, we'd all be focused on this. Oh, okay.
Because another thing that relates to is, as I understand it, just talking briefly with a couple, communicating with a couple of folks yesterday, is there might be also more staff available, legislative staff, once the legislature is out of session to help out with this, because that's certainly going to be something that's it's going to be essential in terms of both the technical support and getting the data and all. Okay.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Any other comments then on what we should do? Because what I might think about is then trying to schedule a meeting in very late June or early, well, probably not the first week in July because that's kind of a holiday week for everybody. But think about scheduling a meeting in very late June and perhaps get some work going on things like 2019, getting the 2019 data. And I don't know that you want to trust me to try to do that. I haven't been doing too well so far on, when I get this data, I think I've got it, and I think I've got all the counties, and then I add the counties up, and it doesn't equal the state population that the census told me there was. And I know there's some gap in that because there are some people who are Maine residents but not attached to a county because they may not be in Maine right now. They may be in England or Japan or whatever, but anyways, anybody? Okay, well, what if we think about scheduling a meeting for, one problem I have with scheduling, by the way, and it's Josh Tardy's fault, not mine, is we also both serve on the Maine Commission on Indigent Legal Services, which has a meeting for, and we need to meet once a month in late June. But what about a possibility of a meeting on June 30th?
Good here.
By then, we should have a website. We should have a way to, a central place through which we could all communicate, things like that. Particularly the people who are members of the legislature, the House and the Senate. How's that look for you?
Good for me.
Good
All
for
right.
me.
Well, can we tentatively plan then to have a meeting on June 30th? And what's a good time of day? Morning, noon, as we're doing now, late afternoon, what might be?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Senator Libby.
can I pose a question to the Senate President?
Through the chair.
Through the chair. Question for the Senate President: 10 days after statutory adjournment, in consideration of vetoes, would put us on Wednesday, the 30th. Just wanted to note that maybe a session could be scheduled around it.
Yeah, I actually was looking at my calendar as Alexander was talking. I think we're tentatively certain on the 28th is possible veto day, tentatively. Obviously don't know what else may come up, so the 29th, I mean, I would prefer the 29th, but that's probably the day we ought to say, in case other things from the legislature. So I think the 30th would work. I believe, it's hard to know, obviously, when we're actually gonna end. I mean, open for the 16th, that means working for the 16th.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
I prefer the morning on the 30th if possible.
Morning. Okay.
Good fishing.
What other people think about looking for the morning of the 30th? So I'd probably say something like 9:30. Anybody have any concerns or comments about that? Ms. Tardy?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's plan for a meeting on 9:30 on the morning of the 19th. Excuse me, on the morning of June 30th, just basically to, kick around things, see where we might go, see what preliminary issues we might be able to identify. And we might be able to identify some, particularly with regard to Senate districting and congressional districting, with regard to the, where the questions are going to be by then. So anyways, and we'll try to figure out a way to get the data on the 19th. And, if we can't identify someone else, do it. I'll try to look it up. But that's taking some risk. So anyways, okay. So we'll have a meeting on the 19th, discuss matters further and see, on June 30th, see where we're going to go and all. Next thing we have to do is according to the
Mr.
agenda.
Speaker.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Is that going to be a Zoom meeting or in-person meeting? And if it's in person, where will it be?
I would hope it could be an in-person meeting, probably in a place we could arrange in Augusta, but recognizing that, for example, Senate President Jackson may have gone up to the county by then and may not want to come back down. I would hope if we have an in-person meeting, which I would like to do, that we could also have an option for people to participate remotely somehow. And I would probably have that in Augusta. By then, we could probably use Appropriations Committee room maybe, or something like that. Or maybe I could arrange, probably we could find a legislative control room to do that. If that was difficult for some reason, we could try to make an arrangement they have quite a big room over at the courthouse that we could use, but we could probably have a legislative meeting room, and if was able to have remote communication capacity, that would be great to be able to participate in that. So,
Thank you.
Senator Jackson, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the room, I mean, I'm pretty sure we had no problem getting less the council room, people feel comfortable there. If not, you know, we can use the House or Senate chamber. I think the House actually had, but I mean, we actually had done in the past, right, Josh, in the legislative council.
Yeah, that's where they have been done in the past. And one other, I guess it's not related to the when we meet or where we meet, but it is relevant to where we meet. Historically, both the Republican and Democrat caucuses and their staff and sort of the technology needs have been accommodated by rooms over in the cross office building. And so to the extent that the reapportionment commission or the apportionment commission meetings can take place in the State House, it makes the most sense. So working through the presiding officers on logistics and where, you know, not to put more on Megan Rochello's to-do list, but she'd probably be the one that could notify where we're going to be.
Okay. Well, great. Then we will plan a meeting at some location in the State House for 9:30 on June 30th, and we'll go on from there. And obviously we'll get something out in advance, and maybe, and if other people want to submit comments or ideas or observations by then, good. But we will certainly be able to circulate in advance some of the 2019 data. We may have some information from the court then, or maybe not, I don't know. But I would hope we would have at least some guidance by then. Perhaps if there's been an oral argument but no final decision, we could have some advice from the Attorney General's office on how it sounded. And all because one of the issues with the court doing things right now is they're in the middle of a little bit of a leadership adjustment too. So I don't know what impact, if any, that might have on the court thing. But anyways, okay. Next issue, we have a budget, and the copy of the budget's been circulated. I don't know. I have any observations about that. It's there. It's what it is. I don't see any. Is there anything we need to discuss with regard to the budget?
It might be appropriate for a motion. And if I may, Mr. Chair, I would move that we adopt the proposed commission budget allocations that are in our meeting materials, which essentially divides the appropriation into 3 allocations with the 2 caucuses at 43.3% and the balance for the chair.
Okay. Okay. Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Representative. Anybody else wish to comment on that, on the budget? Been moved to adopt it as originally as proposed, and I think you all received a copy of the budget too as part of the circulation yesterday. Okay, any other comments on that? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay. All opposed? Everybody's turning off their hands, so there being no opposition, the budget is adopted as indicated. Next, we need to address staff support, and that's something that I don't know if we can address that now or what it is. My observations would be, and I'm delighted with other people's to comment on that, is we need some staff to be able to sort of be a place to receive and redistribute public comments, public information, or and matters communicating between the commission too, in terms of that, and a person do technical things like arrange meetings, arrange hearings. We may have to have some hearings in other parts of the state to be available and get public input on this. And then we need people that are really skilled on computers. So maybe I'd have to say nobody over 50 on this. to but you know, do these drawing of the district lines, because it's great. I've seen it done, and I'm sure it's much better than it was in 2003, where you just be there with the various census tracts once you have the data, and then sort of go and do it. Say, okay, we need to add a little bit here to this district to get up to the population line with the variance and that's allowed, the 10%, so-called 10% variance, 5% either side from the mean, or things like that. So those are the type of stats we need. Representative Perry, you had a comment.
Oh, a comment or a question. What staff has been used in the past? Would our nonpartisan staff be the place to at least see if they can do that work?
So if I may, Mr. Chair, respond.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so in the past reapportionment commissions, and this will be now my fourth reapportionment commission, if you count the special congressional commission, partisan caucuses retain professional staff to accomplish their sort of map analysis and proposed maps that we present to the other partisan caucuses. And historically, we always have a open line of communications with the chair and the chair's designee as we share map ideas and map proposals. And so within our budget allocation, we will each side, if you will be responsible for the professionals and the consultants that will inform our negotiations and our proposals. It would seem to me that for Chair Alexander, having somebody that can assist with the logistics of setting up meetings and putting out the public notices of those meetings are essential. And then as needed, the chair can make a determination whether he needs an additional consultant or he's comfortable as he is invited into the partisan caucuses. And certainly if the chair deems that he needs it, he could get a consultant that could help advise him. I'm not sure that I've never seen that happen. And I think I certainly don't have any objection to the Speaker's office assigning staff to the chair for the purposes of meeting logistics.
Okay. Thank you. One thing I can also add to that discussion is when the court, and the last time the Supreme Court did redistricting was in 2003, what we did was for the technical stuff, which we got from the legislature, and I think we may have gotten some information from the partisan caucuses too, was we used our IT staff to do that with the sort of map grids provided by either the legislature or the partisan caucuses, I forget which. But we didn't hire an outside consultant beyond technical staff that was in the area. But anyways, we can, as Josh has indicated, we can discuss the technical staff later. We do need somehow to identify fairly promptly a staff person who would serve as the sort of communications conduit for all the commissioners, myself included, and also the sort of outside communication to have available a website to be able to receive and distribute public comments and to be able to receive and distribute commission things. And then perhaps then Josh might one of the partisan caucuses or both be able to get together for the 2019 data, at least for the state and for the counties, and then perhaps for more detail for Kennebec County, because that's what we're going to have to look at particularly closely on the congressional district.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
I see a comment by Representative
Pryzak.
Kryzak, yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
Kryzak,
Mr. Chair.
yeah.
I just wanted to mention, this is a good time. We were just informed today that our committee clerk from taxation is being laid off next Friday. So I imagine there's a bunch of other people that are going to be laid off next week. So it's a good time to dip into that experience that is leaving the house until next year.
And presumably that person knows a little bit about numbers too, right?
Yep.
Well, I guess I'd ask Megan Rocheleau to comment on that, or whether that person or another person who, if they're being people are being laid off, might become available for the commission. Megan, are you?
Yeah.
It's something we may have to defer to getting advice from the speaker and the Senate president on, but.
Yeah, I think we can definitely have a conversation about how we would fund that administrative support staff, and definitely committee clerks who will be leaving their positions are a great idea for who might be available to help fill that role. And in the interim, our office will work on getting the website and other things set up before we are able to put someone in place to help do that work.
Okay. Great. Any other comments? Representative Kryzak, you got something else or just?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, good. No, okay. No, don't be shy. Don't be shy, because
no, I just forgot to lower my hand.
We're all doing this for the first time, or certainly for the first time in a while, and we're in a new technical world, anyways. And
yeah, and I'm over 50.
Yeah. So, well, and so. You know, it's something that all of you need to participate on. Do not be shy about commenting and like that. Okay, so I'll be working with Megan and the Speaker's office to see about getting staff identified, plus the other central things we're going to get. We've already talked about and set up a next meeting. Is there anything else the commission needs to discuss? And I know legislative leadership at least has to be somewhere else pretty soon. So. Is there anything else that any member of the commission now officially constituted needs to discuss at this point? Or is there anything else that Assistant Attorney General Boynton would like to say at this point? Okay. Seeing nothing.
Nothing from me, Mr. Chair.
Okay. 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 I would then entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, and anybody opposed? Seeing nothing? Okay, thank you very much. We'll be back in touch fairly soon once we have a central thing done with information and with getting information. And Josh, if you could and perhaps Bev Uhlenhike, if she's still on, could see if the caucuses could get us some information on the 2019 census data, which we could then use and get that significantly in advance of the June 30 meeting to discuss further what issues we might have and anticipate things that would be coming up and sort of get us going even before we have the data. And also hoping the court has something. Josh, you said?
Yeah, will do.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, is Bev, you want to clear somewhere too?
I am.
Okay,
Yep.
Great. Okay, you don't have that scary picture anymore, so. Great, okay.
Scary.
Okay, we've moved to adjourn. Thank you very much then. At this point, we can wrap it up. And Megan, I'll be in touch in a little bit about any further follow-up we need to have. Perhaps we could have a phone conversation tomorrow or something like that, okay? Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. I look forward to working with all of you. And remember, this is an equal effort. Nobody's sort of better or above or below anybody else. We've got to get this together because I think we have an obligation to the citizens of the state to get a good thing that's agreed and well in advance, hopefully, of any November deadline. So there's plenty of time, even with holidays, to get something good. So everything is all set, in fact, and ready to go by the 1st. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you, and